Thank you for tuning in. Motivation Monday. Every Monday, as we begin a brand new week, we bring you stories to encourage you and stories from people who've overcome great things in their lives, or stories from people who are giving back to the community, bringing about change in a big way, in a small way, however God allows them to. And I have such an inspirational story for you today. This morning, we get to hang out with Francis Gitonga, and Francis Gitonga will be talking to us about what he is doing with Spire of Change Youth Foundation. How are you doing, sir? Good to have you on the show today.
I'm very fine, thank you.
Karibu sana. We are so excited to host you and to get to hear about what you're doing. Maybe you can begin by talking to us about Spire for Change. What is that all about?
Spire of Change Foundation is something that God gave me some years back.
Mm-hmm.
Professionally, I'm a doctor.
Yes.
I'm also an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
So do other things. But most of my life, I've worked out of the country, in war-torn areas. And I came back in the year 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And I started a business in Juja, Jomo Kenyatta University.
Yes.
A PlayStation business. That was an idea of my nephew. And when I was in school, things were a bit better. Things are getting more uglier for our youth, for our children. So as we were planning how to do this business, most of the time I would be there with my nephew, and I saw a lot of things that were not right with our children.
Okay.
Yes.
What are some of the things you began to see?
The most part that I saw was that there was a very big disconnect between the youth, the students, and their families or their parents.
Oh.
Most of the young people do not know where they are going in life. There's a lot of alcoholism. There's a lot of bangi, cannabis, sativa. There's a lot of misdirection, irresponsibility. For them, most of them, it's all about getting to hang out, drinking.
Yeah.
A lot of immorality, a lot of abortions.
Wow.
So many things that are very wrong. Yes.
So why did this become a burden for you? Because for some people, these are things they see and you just say maisha siku hizi imebadilika sana, watoto siku hizi wamekuwa wameharibika sana, and you move on with your life. But for you, it caught your attention and it caused you to think of what can I do? And I'm just wondering, why did you take these issues at a personal level that you would want to do something to bring about change?
Thank you, Okumo. Before I answer that question, I'd also like to ask you a question.
Yes.
You are a presenter, and you have a gift. The Bible talks of talents.
Yeah.
So I did not start the Spire of Change Youth Foundation because I saw what I saw in Juja. I started it because since I was a young man, I had a gift to be a mentor, mostly to the younger people around me, and sometimes to even older people.
Wow.
So it was just a calling that came about.
Okay. So when these young people would come to your business to play PlayStation and all that, did you have conversations with them?
Oh, yes, we did. Some of them were very nice. Some of them respected me. I'm old, not a young man. I'm working 50.
Yes.
And what really caught my attention is that most of them will come in drunk, most high on bangi. And you see, it's not about young men alone, even young ladies.
Yes.
Most of them will be there and they have classes and they're not attending.
Wow.
Most of them will tell me they never knew me as Daktari, they knew me as Geetonga. Because I have a gift of mingling and getting to fit with the young people. So they'll be like, on Friday, unanunua kitu? I'm like, nitanunua. Then when I talk to the guards, the caretakers, they'll be like, almost every other day, they are collecting stillbirths from abortions.
Wow.
I also came to realize there's a lot of HIV. The saddest part is that me looking young, every Friday you come around any university, you find old men coming to pick their daughters, and they are not their daughters. Because you can know a father who comes to pick a daughter. She has to be dressed appropriately. But you realize these girls can't get into those big tinted vehicles scantily dressed. And yet you see me, the same old man in church with a tie, saying hallelujah. And you wonder. God says, whatever you do unto my people, I will do back to you. Because I look at old, irresponsible men, and of course even women, who are mothers, who are fathers. And yet they have another life, a different life, whereby they present themselves very nice in the community, in church, but then come the weekend, they do other crazy things that you cannot understand. The other thing that I realized that one of the reasons I started the foundation was that we really need a second home, like a second family. Most of these young men and women, wherever they come from, some of them are coming from, few of them are coming from stable homes. What do I mean by a stable home? A home whereby there's mother or father or even, or even a mother, single mother. Doesn't mean if you are a single mother, you can't raise a child well. But some of them who are able to survive college, they come from a simple family unit whereby they pray in the morning, they share together. The parents give them an opportunity to mature up. But most of these parents, most of them are wealthy. They do not have time for their children. They don't even pray. They don't even show them church. So there's a lot of immorality because there is no God as a center for young people. And by the way, Okumu, SOC is not for young people alone, even guardians, professionals. We are all in it together. As a parent, I've been improving all these years. It has not been easy. But I have been improving myself, becoming a better father, a better young man, a better old man, as I am taught things by young men. Of late, I do things like a young man, and I'm not growing any older.
Daktari, I'm just wondering, so you see all these things, I mean, and these are things that can actually overwhelm you, you know, because if you're interacting with these young people on a daily basis or almost on a daily basis, and you're seeing all these things around you, it's even hard to think, where do I start? And as one person, can I really even effect change? Because this is so big. So how did you start? What are some of the things you started doing?
My friend, let me tell you one thing. I never started anything. I do not even know where I'm going.
Okay. Explain that to us.
I will tell you this. If you choose to love God, He will give you everything that you need. Initially, I was not fully equipped, and I don't do this alone. I do it with my wife. And I have 3 daughters. One is Purity in Jomo Kenyatta University. The second one is a 3rd year in, sorry, I'm forgetting the name. I will remember. The last one is class 5, Precious Blood Primary. The second body, sorry, is in Loreto Rimuru Convent, a 3rd year. So we do it together. And actually, my children are they're getting to do it better than me.
Wow.
So it's the Holy Spirit that leadeth me. And I wake up in the morning and I kneel down and I say, Lord, thank you. Forgive me of all my sin. May I focus on you and on you alone. That is why I find whatever I have, whatever I need. From there, I ask Him to forgive. May He help me to forgive my enemies. I don't want enemies. I know the world is a different place, but I choose God first. So to answer your question, all this comes from God.
Okay. So what do you do with these young people?
Now, we started with about 4. We had 2 ladies, Jomo Kenyatta Student University, two guys. And we called ourselves Don't Know, because as I told you, I never knew what we are doing. I actually even don't know where we are going.
You called yourself, you're serious, you called yourself Don't Know?
Yes, because I never knew what we are doing in the group. Speak now, the group is big. We have so many professionals. We have so many parents.
Wow.
We have about 15 pastors. We have our lead father. He's a priest. He's called Father Matthew. He's actually he's the one who wedded me and my wife Naomi.
Ah.
And he has been a mentor all along. Everyone needs a mentor, even you.
Yes.
But of course, God is the first mentor. Now, we have students. We started with JQuat students. We have almost each of our students from all the colleges in Kenya and out. Nairobi, JQuat, KU, even these tertiary universities. We also have students in secondary school. We have students in primary school, upper classes. So what do? First, our focus is God. We want to be the second family. We want to mentor them to have that feeling of having a second family as we encourage the parents to take care of their children back at home, so that they are more straight. Now, we visit, we meet, we make visits, we visit children's homes. We moved around Figure Out. We visit so many schools. We held topics about HIV, peer pressure. We go to prisons, whereby I get an opportunity to be allowed to allow the students to listen to people who have been imprisoned for life.
Wow.
Some of them were stealing. Some of them started stealing. Long hands.
Yes.
We also go to school, to hospitals, whereby we go to cancer centers, whereby we want to see young children who are dying and they're saying, I know I'm dying. So that we really need to appreciate life. No one knows where I will be today.
Very, very true. Dr. Let me take you back. Let me take you back. You said you began with 4 students. You know, just take us through that journey. So you begin with 4 students. What do you begin? Do you begin having meetings with them? How regularly do you get in touch with them? And how does this thing begin to grow?
When we started, as I tell you, we called ourselves Don't Know. A friend of my nephew, the one who helped me set up the business, was graduating ahead of him and told me, Uncle Kamau, please, can you come to my graduation? I said, all my life, I never do anything alone. I will always find me with someone. Mostly you find me with young people.
Yes.
So I invited the 2 ladies and the 2 guys, the 5 of us, traveled to Gatondo, and we shared so many things, and I'll tell you, we shared crazy things.
Wow.
That is why I told them, can I start a group? And they were like, why not? I'm like, I actually want to name it Don't Know, because I actually don't know even what we are starting. Yes.
Wow. So
the other part you asked about that question.
Yeah. So from there, you know, how did other students begin to join, other professionals who came on board? Explain to us that journey. And the reason why I'm asking you to explain to us that journey is there are many people who say something and you want to do something, you know, and I'm glad you began and you called the group Don't Know. You had no idea what you're doing, but you knew I have to do something, you know, and you allowed God to guide you along the way. And many of us get stuck, or we are so afraid to start because we don't have a clear picture in our minds, or because we are thinking, where will I get the resources? Or because we are thinking, who am I to begin something? Will people even listen to me? So I think in explaining to us your journey, you will inspire some of us to begin. Even if it means we're beginning like you and we are saying, I don't know, but I'm beginning, you know, I think that's a good thing. So after you get this 4 and you begin these meetings with them, how does that grow? How does that progress?
Now, the first thing I did is I introduced the idea to my wife. I told her, I don't know what I'm doing here, but I feel we need to do something, because as I told you,
yes,
doing it alone, I will not make it. I need the people I love near me. And I also introduced Father Matthew, who is my mentor.
Yes.
Now, I'm very fast with internet and getting to communicate. So I also introduced my brothers, my sisters.
Nice.
I knows my friends, young people. I'm very smooth. If we meet with you, you will like me.
Yes.
I have gifts.
I like that.
I've been that help me together with my family to do what we are trying to do. And it is these gifts that I realized I had them since I was young.
Yeah.
And then we started growing. Now, when we formed, we now had many students joining through the 4 of them, because I told them, buddies, can you get your friends to get in? And I met them physically, and they were like, Gitonga, join me. And I realized in this group, it's an open group. It's a God group. So everyone in the group, we have more than 200 members.
Wow.
We also have others who don't want to be in, but they help us in many ways. So everyone is an admin. Everyone is an admin, meaning that if they share what we are trying to do, that's how we've grown more. Because if I said I'll block the group, then it becomes a personal asset.
Okay.
I'm not doing this to glorify myself,
Yeah.
to make my name. I am doing this even for my children, because I believe even my friend's child is my child.
Yes, that is true. So you bring all these people together, they're joining the group, then what? What kind of activities do you do? When you have meetings, what kind of things do you talk about?
Now, I told you the group was don't know. I asked these young people. I asked the guardians. Now, what do we from here?
Yes.
I don't want to have ideas. God already given me the ideas, but being someone who is given a position, it's not about you saying every time. Most of the young people are telling me, Gitonga, now they started calling me Daktari, they knew who I am.
Yeah.
They're like, now Daktari, we want to go like on a trip. We want to go visit a place. And that's how we came up with the idea of doing schools. And our first place was a children's home, orphanage.
Yeah.
That is next to me. I live around Kenyatta Road, a place we call Moiga Inn, and Precious Blood Primary School, the only primary school of Precious Blood Sisters, where my children have gone through. They have a children's home. So I organized, and this is very funny, I have to tell you, Okumu.
Yes.
Now we agreed to do a visit, and we did not have money, so we said, you people mna pesa ya kunywa, lakini lazima kila mtu atoe kitu. Nitatoa yangu, lakini hata wazazi wenyu lazima wasukume. And the parents were very encouraged, and we were able to raise about 17,600. We bought food stuff. Mostly now we were only based in JQuat students from Kenyatta University. Now, the night of the Sunday that we were going there, I get a call from a police station in Fika. By the OCS, and I'm told, when do you Daktari? I'm like, yes. Have your students here? They were arrested because of drinking. So I'm like, I am sorry, what can we do? We talked, and I told them we have a function tomorrow. Now, I never knew the other students. I only knew there were only a few JQuat students who are my friends up to today. I told them, please release them. You don't know me, but even if you call me, I'll come. But tomorrow we have a great function. We've been invited by the sisters to share a meal, to talk to these children, to play football. Believe me or not, they were released in the morning.
Wow.
3 a.m. And I told the OCS to tell them to straight away go and sleep, because they have to be fresh.
Yes.
Now, in the morning, I was so surprised. He works in a mysterious way. I thought only a few students of Jomo Kenyatta University. They came with students from Nairobi University, their friends.
Wow.
And those Nairobi students, and there are also ladies in this group. They are like, we came just to know who you are, because you help us to be released from prison. I told them, forget about that. Let's do what we came to do here. We prayed, we had a meal, we shared many things with the orphanage. I was not taking them there to make them know that they are orphans. I was taking them to realize they are blessed. They come from families. It's not the idea of taking food there. Now, one of the young students who is now a medical doctor, she said, you guys, you really need to love God. She's an orphan. She told her a story whereby her mother bathed her and threw her in a toilet.
What?
She does not know which tribe she is. Her name was given by sisters because people moving on the road heard the noise of the child crying. So I saw some of these students crying because they were so drunk the other day. They don't know what it means.
Wow.
So we had a great time, and then we started going to schools. We've done most of the colleges, secondary school, primary schools. And what we do is we plan and we say we are going to do topics. One of the main topics is God, the first topic, because SOC is about God. getting to love God, putting Him as the center stage. Number two, we share like drugs, sex, peer pressure.
Yes.
We've done great jobs. We're doing well, but it's not been easy.
Okay.
But
Okay.
He's faithful.
Yes.
He gives me the strength. With the help of everyone, we do it. Now the parents, the guardians are there.
Yeah.
The pastors, our mentorship. Every day we have a devotion. We are cosmopolitan. We don't choose a church. We even have Muslim. We even have those who call themselves atheists.
Yeah. Yeah.
God says we love everyone. If you are the kind of who chooses the person you love, then there's something wrong with you.
Very true.
Because if He loves you for who you are, then why would you not love your neighbor?
Very true. Wow. This morning we're hanging out with Dr. Francis Gitonga. We are talking about what he is doing in his community, changing the next generation. I love it. If you have any questions for us today, 20316 is the SMS line. WhatsApp number is 0786316316. And my good friend, Reverend Bernard Warui, how are you doing, sir? You say this is a very inspiring story. As one who has a passion to mentor young people, these are the stories I love listening to. The young people need just one person like Daktari to hold their hands and lead them away from all these ills. May the Lord bless him. I so agree with you, my friend. Thank you very much. Wango in South Sea, you say, your pastor, your guest today is very funny. He's saying, if you meet him, you will like me. You will like him. Even me, I want to meet him. Well, you never know. You might just get to meet him. Daktari, are you there? Seems like we're having a bit of issues with the connection. Daktari, can you hear me on the other side? One of the things I love about this story, even as we try and get the connection going, Daktari says that when he began, he had no idea what he was doing. He just knew he wanted to begin something. He even called the group Don't Know. That is just on another level. Many of us, in the previous hour, we were talking about fear and how fear holds us back. Many of us, we see things in the community that we would want to do something about, but we are so afraid. We don't know where to begin. We are wondering, will people take us seriously? Will this thing last? And so we have ideas in our heads. And one of the things I've realized is when you have those kinds of thoughts and you don't do anything about them, it's very easy for you now to start complaining and to point fingers in the community, not recognizing that God has actually empowered you and called you to begin something. And one of the things I've realized, even having the privilege of doing this kind of a program and talking to different people who come in to share their experiences, people who are doing something to bring about change in the community. If you talk to a good number of them, they had nothing when they began. Nothing. But they had an idea and a burden and they began it. And as they began it, God has a way of bringing other people alongside you to do what needs to be done. I mean, just looking at Daktari's story, began with 4 students, talked to his wife about this idea. He had no idea where this idea would go. But as young people joined in, they came with ideas. Let's do this. Let's visit a children's home. Let's go to a school. Let's do this. Let's do this. And this thing has grown and grown and grown and grown. Parents come in, professionals come in, the clergy are coming in, and they're able to go and do something to bring about change where the lives of young people are concerned. So a friend of mine called Mike, I've hosted Mike on this show about 2 or 3 times before. Mike is a former street boy. His family was thrown out in the streets many years ago. The dad died and, the family just threw them out. They took everything, threw them out. Mike lived in the streets for quite a number of years. But, he was rescued from the streets by another friend of mine who runs a children's home. And Mike grew up in that children's home. And because this young man who runs the children's home is a part of our church, that's how Mike connected to the church, and that's how I knew Mike. But the reason I'm sharing about Mike is because Mike is one of the people who's also out there every day in the community doing something. Mike always had a dream of becoming a pilot. He's almost graduating to become a pilot. But the thing I love about Mike is that every Saturday he's in Mlango Kubwa, feeding the street families. He calls them VIPs. Does he have the resources? No, he doesn't have the resources. But somehow God is able to link people to him, to help him to do what he needs to do. And that's really what I'm trying to say, that for you who has a burden, you have an idea of something you want to do in the community, begin something small. Begin with those 4 people like Daktari did. and see where God takes you, how God leads you, the kind of doors that God is going to open for you. It is said that it is easier to move and to steer, or rather it is easier to steer a moving car than one that is stationary. And you know what? If each one of us arose to do something, no matter how small, in the community, we would have better communities. We need to get back to how things were back in the day. You know how things were back in the day? When your neighbor saw you doing something wrong, they corrected you. When your neighbor saw something wrong in the community, they put their voice in there. Today, once we began living in what we are calling gated communities, everybody just became an island. You know, you don't care what happens to your neighbor anymore. You see something happening to your neighbor's children, you don't want to say anything anymore. No, we need to get back to that place where we love one another as a community. You know, our culture as Africans was one of community. Let's not take that away. Let's bring that back so that we are concerned about each other. We are concerned about the community we are in. You are in that community for a reason. You have something that you can impact in that community. It may be something big, it may be something small, but there is something. And if we learn to work together, if we learn to do the small bit that we can, if we learn to support one another, I can guarantee you we can bring about change in our communities. I love what Dr. is sharing. You know, talking to the young people, he realized, wow, these young people are lost engaging in illicit sex, abortion, you know, drunkenness. They don't come from stable families, and they're at that point in their life, the life in campus, college. That is a very critical point in anybody's life. That's for many people where they make it or break it, you know, because now, man, you know, ideas are being formed, habits are coming into play and all that, and I love that he is able to do something about it. And so you and I also have a responsibility in our communities. You can do something. You can change the life of one person. It doesn't have to be a whole multitude of people. It can be one person. Dr. talked about mentorship. He is a mentor. He's always been a mentor. Are you raising up somebody? Are you mentoring somebody? Are you? Yeah, you have some experience, you've learned some lessons in life. We need to get away from just chasing after money and building a big life and a good life for ourselves. Think about those that God has put around you. Can you mentor one person? Can you be there for the young people? Can you be there for the children in the community? God has given you a burden for something. I pray that you and I will arise and begin to do something about it. It's about 17 minutes before we get to 8. We're still trying to get a connection with Dr. We're having issues with the connection. I'm sure we'll get through. But what he's shared so far is really inspirational. And I want to ask you a question. What burden do you have? When you look around you, the place where God has planted you, whether it is your work area or whether it is your residential area, whether it is the community back at home where you come from, what is one thing you see that really burdens you? Maybe when you watu wanakuwaga na shida ya maji and you're thinking, I need to do something about it. Or maybe you see in your area there are a lot of single mothers, you know, raising up children on their own, and you're thinking these young men need mentors. Or maybe, man, where you come from, education is an issue and you're thinking, I need to do something about it. Talk to me. Tell me, what is that one thing that really burdens you where God has planted you? 20316 SMS line, WhatsApp number 0786 316 316. This one is a message coming in from Eunice from Roasters. You say, I love it, what Dr. is doing. I have a friend who's addicted to drugs, especially alcohol. Even if you tell him to change, he don't want to. Can I bring... you ask me if you can bring him over one day? Well, we'll get in touch with Dr. and see the possibility of that. This one says, this one is from Jenga. Jenga, you say, I'm so inspired by Dr. I am in that path to seek God to change my generation and the generation that is to come. I do Bible studies in the village consistently to get to discuss God and life and issues with people, to find hope in the truth of the Word of God. I love that. You also say you share in a children's home the Word. Needing to create a safe place to nurture the kids is most important, and I love Dr.'s approach. May God give him grace to enable him to get more to follow that path. I love what you're sharing. You know what, Njenga? Many years ago, before I became a pastor, I was a cell group leader. I used to stay in Waithaka. I've got so many stories about Waithaka. Waithaka is just an amazing place. So me and my wife, newly married, staying with Waithaka. By then, our firstborn was a couple of years old. Not even years. Yeah, a couple of years maybe. 1 or 2 years. And what we used to do is we would have what we would call a kids' corner. A kids' corner was a monthly meeting we did in the neighborhood. We would bring all the children together because we recognized a good number of these children don't even go to church. And so we would bring them together once a month on a Saturday afternoon. We would give them snacks, we would sing songs with them, and we would teach them a simple Sunday school lesson. Well, fast forward many, many years ago, one of them actually became a pastor. I mean, some of them disappeared. We don't know where they went to. But one of them, man, he actually became a gospel artist. Then he became a pastor. In fact, right now, he's in one of the local media houses. He has a show he does. And we look back and we keep thinking with my wife, what if we had not given of ourselves to just be there once a month to talk to these young children and to inspire them? Because I don't know how many people God will use him to reach out to. He's a voice in this generation. He's able to speak the language of the children, of the people, of the young people of this generation. He's able to, come up with music that they can relate to. And sometimes, we look at what we're doing and we think it's small. But one of the things I've come to realize is this: there's nothing small once you place it in the hands of God. I know we live in a generation where everybody wants something mega. You know what I'm saying? You want a mega church. You want a huge house. You want a mega car. Even on social media, you want to have the most followers and the most likes and all that, and it sounds nice. But one thing I've learned in life, it's not in the bigness, it's in the quality. You can change one life, and God can take that one life and use it to change many, 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 many more. Daktari is back with us again. Daktari, good to have you back. Yeah, connection problems, but we thank God we are able to talk to you again before we run out of time. And so maybe what you can tell us in the next, because I have got about 6-7 minutes remaining before we wrap it up, what are some of the lessons you've learned along the way in doing what you are doing? And also, what can you tell those people who've got a burden but they've never started to do anything?
Okay, my friend, before I answer that, I wanted to finish something that I know we are a bit late.
Okay.
Now, in SOC, we've got other departments. Right now, we have a team of 15 doctors, professionals. Yes, my colleagues. And we have what we call a health and wellness department, whereby most of us nowadays, with the way things are, COVID and the situation of life, are going through a lot of problems. Young people want to kill themselves. They go into drugs and other things. So we have a helpline number whereby, for free, my friends, together, we help people who have problems. Like if you have a problem, every week we send a message saying, call this number and do it for free. Number two, we have an entertainment department whereby every Sunday we have one of the students playing gospel, secular, sharing anything good, something that can be shared between parents and students and young people. Number three, I've been gifted with starting another group where I said I'm also an entrepreneur, I do some things. And in this new group, we are encouraging young people, even in school, to find time, and we meet together and we share ideas like creating an app, doing agri farming, getting to learn. Even someone who doesn't have an idea will be invited in these meetings. And the idea basically is for people to know that you have to be not one-sided. You have to be open. Apart from education, it's not enough to sustain you financially. So those are some of the things you are doing. So going back to your questions, please, can you repeat again? I've forgotten that part.
What are some of the lessons you've learned along the way in doing what you're doing? And what can you tell somebody who has a burden to do something, but they've never started? Maybe they're thinking, I don't have enough resources, I don't know so many people. How can you encourage them to start?
First of all, I encourage people, as I was saying, SOC is all about God. I really encourage every one of us. I love God with all my heart.
Wow.
I'm Catholic, but I'm very open-minded. Even kwa Islamu nitaenda na tusali, because I believe we belong to one God. So I would tell that individual, first of all, you need to have God in you, because he's a giver of courage. He's a giver of ideas. I tell you, up to now, we don't know where we are going, but I assure you, I am not the driver of this bus. My Father who drives this through the Holy Spirit.
Great.
So I would encourage them, first of all, to get focused in their life and put God first. After that, then you have to be open-minded. Don't start a group or start anything whereby if there's criticism, you give up. You need to ask God to give you the courage to be able to explain for those that will understand. Some will not. My friend, I've gone through a lot of problems to be where I am.
Yeah.
But I've also been strengthened and hard-hearted. Some of the people, even some few family members, when I started this, they thought it's all about making money. I'm not doing this with my family for money. I am giving back, and I'm teaching my children to give back.
Okay.
I'm teaching my other children in SOC to give back. So life is not about money. As I told you, why you're a presenter is a gift from God. You give back, you encourage what you are doing. And we pray that even after this, we wish to be partners with Family TV, because there are so many great things we can do for our children.
Yeah.
You can also encourage the guardians and parents to come back to their families.
Very, very true.
I encourage them to put fast and focus on positivity. You don't do it for financial gain.
Yeah. I love that.
You give it because God gives you life. God gives you oxygen. Why would you not give it back?
Very true. Several people are asking, how can they be a part of what you're doing? How can they connect with you?
I would wish to share my number. If you're able to connect them, the WhatsApp is a free group, whereby if you share, then I share the number. If you send me a text, then I'll put you in and straight away I'll make you an admin.
Okay.
And whenever you come in, you introduce yourself. You say, I'm Francis Gitonga. Professionally, I'm this. I've not gone to school. I mean, it's an open thing. So I think that would be the best way if we can get in touch. If I would share my number. I think you have it.
Okay.
Then do that. They're most welcome.
Yeah.
And tell them to come with ideas. And I was not doing this to get financial gain. The reason I requested friends who made me come here today, who I'm grateful to, was because I wanted people to know what we are doing.
Yeah.
I also want young people to know that there is a career side. And there's a side where you give back.
Yes.
And that is the one that has the most blessings. In this group, we are also politicians. I come from a family of politics. And the politics, clean politics, whereby if you have God and you are elected in any position in the country, I assure you will not be going through the problems that we are going, because if you read the Bible and you see the people who followed, Solomon, David, Saul, they are great men with weaknesses, but their greatness was based on God.
Very true. Wow. Yes. Dr. Imagine my time for today is up, but thank you so much for inspiring us today. For those who've been listening in and you want to get in touch with Dr. you want to be a part of what he is doing, simply send us an SMS. We'll be able to connect you with him so that you can be part of his group and what he is doing. Dr. asante sana.
Thank you very much, my friend.
Awesome. Well, I'm out of time for today, Motivation Monday. May each one of us do something to give back to the community, and have yourselves a great day. That's what we are looking at.
Thank you for watching. Remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can get notified whenever we upload new fresh content every day. Stay tuned and enjoy fresh, uplifting content.